In this video, we'll talk about how we can apply CSS across Shadow DOM. So this scenario comes very rarely in real time, but sometimes clients want you to update the standard Salesforce given component styling. And for that purpose only, I have built this video because I'll not recommend this approach to update the style. You should always look for the alternative because it's always hit your performance. But if you don't have any other choice and you want to update the style, then you can follow this approach. So let's go to our VS Code first. To build this approach, we'll go and create a component. I can give this shadow DOM styling. Create this component. So now the component is ready. First we need to create the card. So I'll quickly create the card in the HTML. Now we already know this, how we are creating the card and the margin around the card. Inside this, I'll create a lightning button and I'll give that lightning button a label. Testing anything right now, we are just testing it. So I'll say title, testing, and I'll close it. I don't need any handler or something. This is a Salesforce standard button, right? And I want to update the style. So updating the style of these button is not allowed directly. So first deploy this component and see how it looks. So first I'll copy paste the meta tags. I'll change it for our component so that it can be exposed, and let's deploy our component. So I'm in my page. Let me place my component. I'll go and edit the page. So I already moved this component from center to the left, and here our component is shadow DOM styling. I'll drag it here and save this. Let's go back. So right now we have just a card and a button, and button is white background and blue text. If I open my debugger and I'll change the style of this button with the background red and color white, and it's working totally fine right now. Here I'll copy paste this style and go back to my VS Code and I'll create a CSS file here. I'll say shadow styling.css. This is the basic approach of applying the CSS. So I'll create a class button and I apply the color. I'll take this class and apply to my button tag. So I'll say class button. Let's deploy and see if it's applying the style or not. So it's deployed now. Let's go and refresh the page. And now you can see that it's not applying anything. If I hover over the button, you will see the class name is still there, the btn. The background and the color is applying, but it's applying to the component, not to its shadow DOM. So the shadow DOM we already seen in our previous video, like DOM inside a DOM. This is the component exposed by Salesforce, and within this is the shadow DOM for us. And now you can't able to reach to this button tag actually. So it's stop your class here itself, and it's not applying the any styling on it. So to reach to this particular point, we need to write some JavaScript, and let's go and see what kind of JavaScript we're gonna write. So I'll go to the JS file. Here we're gonna use a lifecycle hook that we already discussed in our component lifecycle. So I'm gonna use render callback, and you guys already know render callback will get called whenever our component rendering completed. So now within the render callback, we want to first create a style tag. I'll create a style tag, and to create any element in the JavaScript, we'll say document.createElement. and I'll say what kind of element you want. I want to create style. So if you print this, it will generate like this tag actually behind the scene. Okay, so this command will create the style like this. Once this style is created, what we're gonna say is take the text and write your class here in between. Okay, so programmatically how we can guide that, we can say now style variable, go to your inner text and apply the CSS. I am using a backtick here. First thing to be remember, you have to give your component name. So in our case, the component name is C hyphen shadow hyphen Tom hyphen styling. It should be in the kebab case, the way you are embed your component in the same name casing. So first thing you're telling, okay, the style, this is your parent or this is your component name. Within that, we need a button. So if I go back to my code and I can see, okay, this button has a class SLDS button. So I'll use the same class. I'll say SLDS hyphen button. Within this component, whenever you see this button, apply the style. Which style? I'll just copy paste the same style from here, both things, and I'll paste it here. So apply these styles, and once that style is ready, what you have to do is you have to apply this style to append that style to the lightning button. So I want this style tag to come just below this lightning button inside the shadow DOM. So what I'm gonna do is I'll say this dot template dot query selector, and within the query selector we're gonna call lightning button. So in our component we have a lightning button, we are calling this tag in short. Okay, and we call this tag and we are saying within your tags append the child. What child we want to append? The style tag. So let's deploy and see how it looks and how it works behind the scene. Let's deploy. So it's deployed now, and now you see we are able to update the button, the red color and the white one. Let's hover over the button and see how the styles are applying. The RBTN class is still there. This, even though you remove your CSS, it will not impact anything. So I removed it, nothing happening. But the style tag we created, now you can see it's inside the lightning button tag. Those are the dynamic style tag that we created using JS file, and within that you can see our CSS is available, and that CSS is applying on this particular button because it has that class SLDS button. So this is how you update it, but as you know, it's not performance efficient. So whenever you do this, first check with that is loaded false. So we don't want to re-render it again and again of doing something. So always check this. Initially it is false. If this dot is loaded, return directly. Otherwise, once it's loaded, you can update your property. This dot is loaded true. So only the first time it renders, after that it will not call this particular thing. Okay, so let's deploy this and just make sure we can remove this style as well. We don't need this, and we can remove our CSS file as well. And let's deploy this now. Let's refresh the page, and now you'll see things are working fine. And I hover over the button again, you can see button class is there but no style is applied because we already removed the CSS. We forgot to change the class name, but styles are there and everything is working totally fine. So this is the approach how you can update the CSS across the Shadow DOM, but it's not an efficient approach and try to avoid it. But if there is a scenario in which you don't have any other way to update the CSS, you can go with this approach. So that's it for this session. I will see you in the next session.